The ballroom was filled with glittering chandeliers, polished marble floors, and the sound of clinking glasses as the city's elite mingled. Everyone was laughing, dressed in expensive suits and gowns, but in the corner of the room sat a girl in a wheelchair, her eyes distant and filled with a pain no one else seemed to notice. She was the daughter of Richard Hale, the most powerful CEO in the city, known for his billion-dollar empire, ruthless decisions, and cold heart in the corporate world. But tonight, nobody whispered about his wealth or his deals. Instead, they whispered about the girl in the corner, his daughter, Emily. At just 21, Emily had once been the brightest star of every gathering, vivacious, kind, and breathtakingly beautiful. But after a devastating car accident, she was left paralyzed from the waist down. Her legs no longer carried her, her dreams of becoming a dancer shattered, and her once glowing spirit dimmed. Everyone at the party kept their distance. Not because they didn't care, but because they didn't know how to approach her. They didn't know how to face her silence, her sadness, her brokenness. And so, they ignored her. But one man noticed. He wasn't dressed like the others. His suit was a little worn, his shoes polished but not brand new. He didn't belong in this world of millionaires and champagne. His name was Daniel Carter, a single dad who had been invited only because he had recently saved Richard Hale's company from a critical software breach. Daniel wasn't a man of wealth or high status, he was a man of integrity, hard work, and quiet strength. As Daniel's eyes scanned the room, they landed on Emily. Unlike everyone else, he didn't look away. Instead, he walked over, knelt beside her wheelchair, and softly whispered, "You're not invisible to me. I'll help you." Emily blinked, startled. Nobody had spoken to her like that in months. Nobody had dared to promise her anything anymore. And in that moment, something flickered inside her, something she thought she had lost forever. Since the accident, Emily had lived in shadows. Her father, though powerful, buried himself in work instead of facing her pain. He provided the best doctors, the most advanced therapies, the most luxurious care. But what Emily needed most, love, presence, hope, was something even his billions couldn't buy. Her friends had slowly disappeared, unsure of how to act around her. The boy who once promised to stay by her side had left within weeks of the accident, unable to handle her new reality. Day by day, Emily withdrew further, believing she had become a burden, something broken and unwanted. But Daniel was different. He knew what it meant to feel broken. Daniel wasn't just any man. He was a father raising his daughter, Lily, all on his own. His wife had died when Lily was just 5, leaving him with a little girl and a heart heavy with grief. He had worked 2 jobs, sacrificed his own dreams, and given up every luxury just to make sure Lily never felt unloved. He knew what loneliness felt like. He knew the sting of being forgotten. And when he saw Emily, he recognized that same emptiness in her eyes, the same emptiness he once saw in his own reflection. At first, Emily resisted. When Daniel spoke to her after the party, she looked away. When he asked if she wanted to get fresh air, she refused. But Daniel wasn't discouraged. Every time he visited her father's office for work, he stopped by Emily's room. He brought Lily with him sometimes, and slowly, Emily found herself smiling at the little girl's innocent chatter. Lily didn't see the wheelchair. She didn't see Emily's brokenness. She only saw someone who could braid her hair, listen to her silly jokes, and tell her stories. Emily began opening up. She told Daniel about her dreams before the accident, the stage lights, the music, the way dancing made her feel alive. Her voice trembled when she admitted, "That girl is gone now." Daniel leaned forward, his voice steady. "No, that girl is still here. Maybe not in the same way. But she's not gone, and I'll help you find her again." Helping Emily wasn't easy. Her father had lost faith in anything beyond doctors and money. "Don't give her false hope," Richard warned Daniel more than once. "She'll only end up hurt again." But Daniel didn't believe in giving up. He started taking Emily to the park, to art classes, even to volunteer events where she read to children. At first, she was terrified, afraid of stares, whispers, and pity. But Daniel was always there, standing beside her, steady as a rock. One day, he brought her to a dance studio. Emily froze. The sight of the mirrored walls and polished floors made her chest ache. "I can't," she whispered. But Daniel wheeled her closer and pointed to a group of children with disabilities, learning a form of adaptive dance. Look at them. They're not broken, Emily. They're living. And so can you. Tears streamed down Emily's face. For the first time since the accident, she felt a spark of her old self returning. Weeks turned into months. With Daniel and Lily by her side, Emily discovered new strength. She learned to dance again, not with her legs, but with her arms, her wheels, and her spirit. She performed at a small community event, her movements graceful, her face glowing with the confidence she thought she had lost forever. The audience stood in awe. Among them was her father. For the first time, Richard Hale saw not his broken daughter, but a warrior, strong, radiant, and unbreakable. That night, he approached Daniel, his voice heavy with gratitude. You gave her back what I couldn't. You gave her hope. Richard began changing. Inspired by his daughter's courage and Daniel's compassion, he started spending more time with Emily, not as a CEO managing her care, but as a father simply loving his child. He joined her therapy sessions, attended her small performances, and listened when she spoke. Emily was no longer the girl everyone whispered about. She became the girl everyone admired, the one who refused to be defined by her wheelchair. And through it all, Daniel stood quietly by her side. One evening, after another practice session, Emily sat with Daniel under the stars. Her voice trembled as she said, "You saved me. I thought my life was over. I thought I had no worth left. But you showed me that I still matter." Daniel smiled gently and leaned closer, whispering the same words he had spoken the night they met, "You were never invisible. And I'll always help you." Emily's story became one of triumph, not because she regained the ability to walk, but because she learned to live again. Her life wasn't defined by what she had lost, but by what she had found: hope, strength, and love. And Daniel's quiet courage proved something the world often forgets: sometimes, you don't need money, power, or grand gestures to save someone. Sometimes, all it takes is a whisper, a hand to hold, and the promise that they are not alone.